classes. The verification of enrollment has to be done by this week, since we have classes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Jordan, if you don't mind, close the door. If someone comes, maybe you'll have to open it. Sorry. So it's verification of enrollment. So this is what I ask all of you. This is only for this week. Next week, your assignments will be due on Sundays. 11:59 p.m. the drop boxes will close. So for those who were here before, on Monday, you know that along with whatever paragraph or other things you are working, you will also be maintaining a journal, right? An online journal entry, which is again a paragraph. The journal entry is basically going to be about, it is not formal, but it is going to be about your thoughts and ideas about what happened in class, about the lesson, right? It is much more of taking account of what you learned, right? And reflecting on your development as a writer, in this class. And I know it sounds like I don't know how to do that. Remember, the first one, try to do based on the guidelines, which I'm going to point out in the book also. But get used to it. You will have about 5 journal entries. Journal entries are not going to be graded individually. Those will be graded cumulatively. This 10% of the grade is on journal entries, which is good, I think, right? It's just basically being honest and saying, this is what I found hard, this was interesting, this is what I did well in class, this is what I think I do well, I don't think that I'm, this is where I work best, this is where I think best, this is a good place for me to write, all those kind of things. Not actually about anything about in the chapter or whatever, but taking account of your progress and your development, including the challenges. That's what journal entries are for, right? So the first one, only for this week, Friday night, right? All you have to do is what do you feel about this class, right? How were the first 2 classes, right? Are you looking forward? What are you afraid of? What are you looking forward to? That's what it is, a paragraph, right? By Friday night, 11:59. And that those who submitted, there is an additional verification of enrollment that you've done the work. Does that make sense? I will send you an email tonight, most probably, and you will also find on Blackboard where all your stuff is supposed to be submitted, major assignments, except the ones that we do in class, the handwritten ones and drafts. Those will be in class, not handwritten, unless you want to use your computer, but then I need to look them over, so make sure that I can do that. So most of your assignments will be submitted on Blackboard in the appropriate submission folder. And so tonight what you will see is that I will create 2 folders. In week 1, it will say on the menu on the left hand side, week 1, and then when you click on week 1 of this course, on the course page, right, it will say journal entry 1 for week 1, right? And then you will submit your paper there. You probably have a little bit of description. And then underneath it, you will find the narrative paragraph, the final one you submitted there. Does that make sense? Quizzes are going to be in class. I will give you the sheets. You will fill them out in 10-15 minutes, and I will grade them and return them to you right away so that you know what your grade is, even though I'm going to put it also on Blackboard. Does that make sense? And your first quiz, there will be 5 quizzes. First quiz is going to be on Wednesday, next Wednesday, right? So today, we will also cover a brief, I know it's intense, but believe me, it can be done, right? If you make a little bit of effort, as I said, I promise I will see you through. So we are going to be talking about nouns, pronouns, prepositions, understanding sentences. Frankly, nobody uses in real life nouns, pronouns, prepositions. You don't use those words, but you use the actual words that are nouns, pronouns. So we have to know how to use them in language, especially in writing, right? So some grammar lessons. So that's on our agenda today. So any questions anyone has? This is the time before we begin. Anything? So Priscilla, you came, right? Okay. Priscilla, make sure you come on time, eh? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes?
So for the future quizzes, you're gonna tell us a day, like a day before, or are you just gonna give us a set?
No. It's not going to be surprise. There's nothing. We have two classes, so one of those two classes are going to have. So because they're in class, right? So the next one is going to be on Wednesday, and you're right. I don't know when I will have time to do the second one, but every week, one of those 2 days, Monday or Wednesday, you will have a quiz. And the only rule that I have to follow in making you take the quiz is that I covered that in class. So if I've not covered it, I can't ask you to take the quiz, right? You can always review. I can give you the order of the quizzes. Actually, I will do that today so that you can read the relevant chapters from the book, which are towards the end, right? If you have even edition 4 or 5, you will see towards the end is grammar and punctuation, right? So we'll figure out which is the right chapter. So give it a read. We'll do some exercises in class, and then next class you will have the quiz. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So no surprise quizzes. I want people to do well, and they're going to be simple as long as people understand the concept, right? All right. It's summer, so I mean, I can't not make you work, but we don't have to be all crazy about, how to do that. All right, so if you want, you can write it down. I'll give you what I consider. I might change my mind if I see there are areas that students are not doing well, but by and large, for 0500, these are the areas of grammar and punctuation that are kind of important to get a handle on. So your first quiz, as I said, is going to be, you can write it down, or I can write it down, but you can write it down because I have to write other things. Is going to be on nouns, pronouns, and prepositions. I thought about it today. Nouns, pronouns, and prepositions. Quiz 2 is going to be on apostrophes, subject-verb agreement, adjectives, and adverbs.
I'll ask Jen for apostrophes.
Okay, I'm going to write this down. And what you will need to do is what I'm writing down, you will need to find when you get your book, which are the appropriate chapters, right? So I think it's better for me to write it rather than, because otherwise it will just be a little bit more time. And then we'll get started with some exercises